Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the CC Card Gaming Podcast. We're finally back after a long overdue sort of stint on the sidelines. Yeah, we just decided to take a break. It was off season and there wasn't any events going on, and we didn't have too much to talk about. But yeah, we're back. It's a good time to be back with ban lists and tournaments and all sorts of things coming up. Glenn can't be with us today, but we to replace him, we've got our new member Peter. Welcome to the team, Peter. We picked him up about a few weeks ago, a month ago, and you might recognize his name from the Margin Vegeta deck profile on our channel.
Hey
Very,
guys.
he's a very very good at rogue strategies, really good player of aggro decks. Yeah, so welcome. How's it going?
Uh, all right, thanks. I'm also a bit under, a bit under the weather at the moment, but yeah, look, thanks for having me on the team, guys. And yeah, I do love my root strategies. Like everyone else is playing it, I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, Peter got COVID during the week, so but you can't catch it through the screen, so it's all right. He's still here. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, how's everyone else going? You look comfy, Benny.
Yeah, honestly, I'm in my hoodie, so it's really comfortable, and not much has been happening, but weather's been cold, in Australia here, so
Been
yeah, looking forward to
freezing.
UW Cup next week.
Yeah. UW Cup. That's going to be very interesting. A lot of guys probably got a lot to think about now with the ban list. So speaking of ban lists, let's just get it out of the way.
Get right into it.
There's been, a lot of hot takes about it. I thought we'll probably keep the negativity out because everyone's complaining. Let's talk about the positives of the list. Like what do you guys think? Like any fun decks you want to see that are going to benefit from the list and that sort of thing.
Well, I think the big thing I personally think is actually like the best ban list they've ever made in the game. The reason I think that because of course they're gonna do what they normally do, where it's like, all right, what are the two best decks? Gogeta, Zeno, King Piccolo, arguably the two best decks in the format, also two of the most oppressive decks in the format as well, which is what they usually go for. The more, even if it is the strongest deck, if it's not that oppressive, they might not do too much to it unless it's like actually out of hand or whatever, right? But they usually change their oppressive decks. But the big thing for me is actually the overwhelm changes, right? Because if you look at every single deck that has ever topped is either playing Secret Identity, fighting against Fate, or both between the main and sideboard. And the decks that aren't playing those are simply decks such as, for example, U7, which can't overwhelm, right? Those are the only decks that aren't playing those kinds of cards. And it's just like, it really shakes up the meta. Like, because the thing is, like, aggro decks lose a big hit from having fighting against Fate, because you'll just, like, do everything you can, right? And your opponent will be just trying to defend it and be like, all right, I did it. I survived everything. Then for free, you're slamming a 25k dual attacker, and sometimes that's just enough to close out the game. And then in other examples, there's so many, like, tokens have become very relevant now because of the token negates. They just get answered by Secret Identity, right? You token negate. Normally the benefits of those cards is that you get the negate 2 attacks, and Secret ID just says, yeah, cool, I'm clear all your tokens plus whatever other stuff you have that 6 or less. So pretty good at two just generically really overpowered cards, honestly, for free anyway. And the fact that they're gone now is like actually huge because a lot of decks lose that like extra push power as well as that extra utility. So I'm very curious to see what the Overwhelm slot will be for a lot of decks. I don't think Black really cares because they already have so many good Overwhelm cards anyway. Like they still have the 6-drop Goku. But I think for that specific, I'm curious to see like how the Overwhelm looks at everyone's deck. It's like that actually changes like so much of the format if you like just have a look at it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Benny. What do you
Honestly, yeah, losing limited to one now, it's pretty sad. You can't play all four of them anymore. So I gotta say my prayers for all those fans out there that love Gogeta Zeno. RIP. We've still got 2 more weeks before it goes, so play with it while you can. And honestly, for overarm of choice, I was thinking most decks will most likely go back to Mirror, Create, Absorb.
Old
The
school.
old best overarm card, yeah, legit. It's probably the best overarm card. For one, you swing for infinite, and if you're playing yellow, back with like a Champa and a Bad Ring Laser. I mean, cooler Bad Ring Laser.
Yeah.
Pretty strong, and I think the next best generic overwhelm is probably the overwhelm 6 SS4 Feign Greeting because it's free, it's
That was my
30k body,
fault.
it makes your opponent pitch a
Hey,
card. So
Oh,
think those
yeah.
two will be the most played overwhelm choices. That's my
think
thought.
though-
Yeah. What do you?
I think you're correct.
continue.
The
Yeah.
other one I'd like to throw in there is Mirror Assault from the Skies. So
Yep,
this one's
that one's
the one drop, 30k, draws you a card, restands the energy at end of turn. I think that's also a pretty good place to go there, especially
Also double
since
strike.
it's yeah, exactly, and it's sort of a free overwhelm in the same way that those two were. Yes, you have to pay the energy up front, but you are getting it back for defensive purposes, which admittedly is less important on a win con, but you don't want to leave yourself completely defenseless if you can avoid it.
I think another one as well. Oh, you go, Peter. You go.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, I know a lot of people are talking about just jumping onto some SS3 Son Goku Man on a mission.
Yeah.
Just because he is an overarm 6 with natural double strike crit. I don't 100% agree that that's the right choice. At least not as a finisher. It's actually much better earlier into the game because of critical. Your opponent's on 2 life, critical makes 0 difference to the game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain point where we say even after we finish the game, we're still not getting those cards in hand, but it doesn't matter. But yeah. No, otherwise, I kind of agree. I lean heavily towards Feign Greeting myself as the replacement choice, just because it by itself, at the very least, represents 5 cards out of your opponent's hand, assuming that you combo nothing behind it.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, I think Assault from the Skies is also any other go-to, and Creator Absorb in decks that are designed to go a bit longer. For early grey map, grow that 1 energy quite a lot though. Depends how you go.
Yeah, I think as well for the Creator Absorbed, I only really think Yellow will be using that overwhelm, just because of the fact that the combo of that is you overwhelm it, then you swing, then you command and back it up with a cooler. I think the actual slept on thing about the Mirror Overwhelm is the fact it's the only overwhelm card in the game with deflect, so your opponent can't can't hit it with whatever counterplay it is. But another overwhelm I'm thinking that's actually going to be kind of good is Bardock the Awakened Instincts. It's an overwhelm 4. You just draw 2 and pitch 1, and it's it's a 4 cost overwhelm. You draw 2 and pitch 1, so you actually get the Cyclones at 20k. But yeah, I actually do agree that I think that the Vegeta 6-drop, seems as just generic and you play warp 1 out of your opponent and then 30k swings probably will be the best generic one, because it can kind of the one that Benny's holding up, because it can kind of replicate the power of fighting against Fate, I guess, in a way, because fighting against Fate will just you have to do something about it, but at least this warps the card no matter what, even if it gets tapped. And then on top of that as well, as Peter said, 5 cards out of hand unless you got to negate, so it's pretty good.
I also think that through the A-Drop 1, Dark Banisher gets subtly better here, just solely because people tried to run it at the start as a replacement for Shroud of the Mystery. Shroud of the Mystery obviously got banned last list. It wasn't good enough when you had these really strong free overwhelm win conditions. Now that your next best options are worse, I think people are going to give Dark Banisher another look in these sort of slower decks that would have run Shroud of the Mystery earlier. I don't know if this will be its time. It does have a lot of problems, especially being weak to counterplays, but it's something to keep in mind as well, I think, as a sort of second-order effect.
Yeah, I can get behind that actually. Yeah, because I think what you're saying is right. Everyone saw, for Shrouded's gone. I just played Dark Banisher instead, but it's literally the power is completely different, right? It's does not feel the same. But but now if you're if there's nothing worth overwhelming, right, in the early game, you will have a drop in your turn 4, 5, or 6, whenever you want to play this card, right? And Dark Banisher later points in the game for 4 energy. Yeah, a lot of decks can't answer it. So I think you are right. Well, that's a good pick. But yeah, another thing I wanted to touch on from the ban list is Soul Striker has been hit with, which I think this is another insane change. The 2 reasons.
Yeah.
I think that I'm personally happy with it, just because the 2 problems with Soul Striker is that if you're playing blue, there's not really much of a point to play other leaders, because the Soul Striker leader was so generically good, right? You actually, you awaken at high life total, you get to be defensive the entire game. The only real blue leader that you can make the argument for playing over it was SS4 Ramp, but the only problem with SS4 Ramp, you have to play a mono blue deck. And the other thing that changes a lot is that you are no longer required to play decks that say you have to play 3-cost blue unison. I think blue has actually a couple of really good unisons that are cheap, like 2-cost unisons, which I think might see a lot more play now since you don't have to default Gogeta, Baby, although I think Gogeta's still like cracked, but unison's cracked, but I think it just opens the blue pool up a lot just from that one simple change of text.
See, I actually hard disagree with that, interestingly enough. Which is slightly contentious, I know, but this is the thing. Like, if you look at what's been topping lately, especially with blue, we haven't seen the sort of Soul Striker hegemony that Bandai seems to have claimed. Like, we've seen Vegeta top, we've seen the quote-unquote bad Soul Striker top, the one that sucks the 5 sands underneath it.
That leader's actually slept on. That leader's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We've seen
pretty good.
Baby top recently. We've seen Janemba top here and there. Like, Blue's probably had the biggest leader diversity of any of the colors so far. Each of them feel very distinct. It's not like you're just playing bad Soul Striker. And the other thing was, so as we know, we had our regionals recently. I was playing SS4 Vegeta, and the reason I was playing that was because I wanted to play a blue pile deck, and I felt that Vegeta was the strongest. I actually didn't think that Soul Striker was good enough there, and I think it's just sort of more of a hit of like what it feels like rather than what it is, and I don't know if it's an interesting way to balance the game, I guess. There, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because I honestly think that it was just a weird pull. Like, it would have made sense like maybe 2 or 3 sets ago, but now it's just a bit strange.
Yeah, it definitely hasn't.
I think it was a good hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you go, Johnny.
The Soul Striker name hasn't been popping up in the top tables as much in the last few months. I would definitely agree, but maybe for newer players, if it's just so blanket strong, they'll just pick that instead of maybe thinking, oh, I'm going to try out this guy. Someone at locals might just say, oh, you're stupid, you should be playing Soul Striker. If it's any changes change really. Look, we need to freshen the game up. So, but who cares? Soul Striker's gone. It's had his time in the sun. Same with GX. I'm sure Benny's grateful he can change up his play style a bit. And so I suppose yellow didn't get hit at all. So
I want to quickly touch back on that Soul Striker point real quick because I'm a little annoyed. Sure. All right, I'm a little late. All right. This is my So literally in that event, Soul Striker came second in Swiss, the blue-red Soul Striker build, and 4th at the event overall. Kevin, who did a deck profile on our channel, came second with Soul Striker. I do agree with you that Soul Striker isn't winning events, but it's not just about that. Here's the thing. I'm going to a tournament today. I see you playing SS4. All right, you're playing mono blue. That's it. I know what to do against you. I'm versing Soul Striker. Well, shit. Are they mono blue? Are they blue red? Are they blue yellow? Are they blue green if they're crazy? It's just there's so many extra layers of benefit the Soul Striker leader gets. I get it. It's not. I will say it's more of a jack of all trades, master of none kind of deck. It's the best way to describe it. But I think if you're a jack of all trades that is that good, it's hard to argue why to try and do something else, if that makes sense. Let's just say now I want to do a blue-yellow strategy. Okay, do I do the set 15 Carbo leader, which is kind of horrible, or do I use Soul Striker? I'll use Soul Striker. Blue-red. All right, do I play Cooler Mill, which is okay, or do I play Soul Striker because it's blue and I can play Hatch? It's just there's no point playing certain decks because there's the Soul Striker leader exists. Is why I think I'm quite happy with the change.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
All right, I feel better now. I justified myself.
That's a good.
Yeah, so I suppose we talked about what's gotten hit, what gets a boost, what comes out the best out of the list.
What's the best, Benny? What do you want to get banned next? Please tell us.
What do I want to get banned next? Honestly, right now, so I'm actually thinking of playing Sin Shenron for UW Cup. That's one of the decks I was thinking, but obviously I can still play GX. Now it's literally one last ride, right? So honestly, for those things, I mean, if you versing me, you probably assume I'm playing GX, but other decks that I have in the gauntlet that I'm playing is U7. U7 didn't get touched at all.
Correct, yeah.
So that is so it's still full power. Sin didn't get touched. Yellow did not get touched at all. You want to play Vegeta Trunks, that deck is still very, very strong. Sin is very strong. Nothing got touched. They'll probably be the next deck. So you probably, if I play them, you probably assume they're going to get touched
Yeah.
in the next ban list. So.
True.
And notably, Yellow's probably the biggest beneficiary for the King Piccolo unison getting hit. So arguably,
Agreed,
Yellow
yeah.
didn't just not get hit; it actually got buffed in a roundabout manner.
Yeah, I think
correct.
if you're looking at like what pops up as like, damn, this deck's actually like going to be really good now, you can definitely make the argument for Trunks Cheetah. I personally like I've talked about a lot with Ashley Benny specifically. That leader is very flawed in the sense like what it does is actually really good, and the cards you play are really good. But it's flawed in the fact that it awakens you at 6, and that's actually like one of the worst awaken totals you can have, just because you can't. Being awakened at 6 doesn't do anything for you. You can't use You can't go down to 5 with the token negate. You can't use super combos unless you're using like dual color ones. But the fact that it's like, even regardless of those weaknesses, Gogeta Zeno is a really bad matchup for it because like you overrun the Gogeta that just ignoring barrier. It is what it is. And again, as you were saying, the Piccolo Unison just hard claps Yellow. You know that card alone just shut out Yellow a lot of the time. And now that those two very powerful things against it are no longer there, I think Trunks Cheetah will be going up a lot in popularity.
Yep, absolutely.
And also another thing for the next set, me and John talked about this as well. It's getting another 1-drop Self Awakener, which is also a Trunks name.
Yep.
So you can evolve on top of that as well.
Cool.
So
Yeah,
that would
yeah.
be a little bit of a buff for the deck as well.
You can you can swing, get a 10k buff, evolve, and when you evolve, it goes back to active mode. Then you can swing with the blocker, do 29k swing. Seems good. Or is it more?
Yeah.
Actually,
true.
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Bit of
So
early
you-
game pressure.
Are you guys in the camp of like, so you know, the UW tournaments next week, right? So
Yeah.
before pre ban list, are you guys in the camp of sort of like, oh, I better prepare for the new format and I'll play a deck that's that's legal, or like in a couple of weeks, or are you going to just say screw it, I'm going to go full power GX, or what do you guys think?
One last ride.
Yeah.
Full power.
Ooh.
in.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
I
not too
think-
sure, honestly. Yeah,
I think
you go, bro.
especially with the UW format being such a weird, limited environment, we're probably not going to see any tournaments for that in 2 sets because we're starting the Zenkai series.
Yeah.
So I think in this case, there's not much of a thing. If this was going to be like our finals format, for example, then I'd say like, okay, maybe I want to start getting my reps in now. But with a new set coming out and this being like a weird halfway format, I think just play what you have, play what's powerful, sort of thing. Unless you want to pull a new deck together and you're just like, well, I don't want to spend a bunch of money on a deck that's about to go the way of the dodo.
Exactly that. We all have cards that we have gone through whatever level of effort to obtain. Clearly, we want to use them while we can.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I
Like
probably
Benny here.
yeah, Benny with his hard work,
Yeah.
He worked hard. But yeah, I probably won't be playing in the UW format just because I don't like the lack of like card pool, I guess. And plus, not to brag, I've already won everything that you can win from the event, so there's no point me playing really.
Yeah.
Not to brag.
Not to brag, But if I were to play, I'd probably play U7 because I think the only thing that deck loses in this format is After Image. And then like its worst matchup doesn't exist, which is mono blue, so you're chilling, you know.
Outside of, I guess, Bojack, but that deck's
Yeah.
not spectacular.
Yeah. So I think U7's a good shout for the UW format. I think.
Yeah, I think also based on the PPG. Oh, okay. I was gonna say based on the PPG results, I think like the 3 best decks to play is GX, King Piccolo, and U7.
Yeah.
Oh, and Sin.
Yeah. Oh, from their top cut results, 4 of each that topped, I think.
Yeah,
I think Sin's sort of like the A tier pick, and those are the S.
I thought Sin. I thought Sin
Pretty
did
sure it
better.
was 4 Gogeta Zeno, 4 U7, and 4 King Piccolo. Could be
Sounds
wrong.
right. Hang on, I've got the PPG.
Oh, you got it. All right, good. I was looking for it.
on my other site. Give me,
Alright,
give me
cool,
a second,
cool,
on
cool.
my
I think,
monitor.
yeah, me and Peter were talking about this one. If you're playing black, you lose this, which this is Super Kamehameha, so
Yeah, tournament
I don't
results.
know how you
Not a
Alright.
small thing to lose.
some of the
The
flood
Unison
games,
Warrior
it's a small
Cup.
thing, yeah.
Top 16 was 5 Gogeta Zeno,
Trust.
4 King Piccolo,
Yep.
4 Universe 7,
Yeah.
1 Trunks Vegeta, 1 Red Son Goten, 1 Videl, and 1 Sin Shenron, with the top 4 being King Piccolo, 2 Gogetas, and another Piccolo in that order.
I do know the Goten player. He's a solid guy, and I'm so proud that he did so well with that.
That's
Eric
funny.
Hill.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen this list. That's
Yeah,
wild.
this looks pretty memey. It looks like just read good stuff, but yeah, that's
He's
funny.
got, I mean, it mostly is, but there are some cute little interactions that you can kind of only do with
In
a
that deck.
heavy deck.
Yeah.
Like using Bulma the Bunny Girl to play the Videl counterplay from your drop,
Oh.
and it doesn't count towards its limit 1.
Oh,
And you can do it
dude,
again.
that just when you mentioned that card, I just got flashbacks. I think it was Nooks who was playing Vegeta, like the Vegeta starter leader, and he was playing like the Earthling Storm package. He was comboing. He was going to like Bulma, like playing out a card, and we played one game. We're like, what just happened? I died on turn 2.
Yeah, that was Nooks.
That was so funny.
Yeah, legit.
That was so
I think,
funny.
I think he called the deck Victory Assured.
Victory assured.
Yeah, that was it.
That deck was so good. That was funny as.
This is a wild ass list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now.
But I guess I do agree that the top 3 decks definitely for the, if you can only use Unison Warrior cards, it's definitely King Piccolo, Gogeta Zeno, the 2 decks that just got hit in the ban list, obviously, and then U7, because I think again U7's pretty much like the full powered deck minus 1 card. Oh, you can't run Heartfelt Play, but most lists don't run Heartfelt Play anymore.
Yeah, that card's kind of medium.
It's cool if it goes off, but yeah, so that's not the best,
It's great. It's just good luck making it happen.
Yeah.
That's basically
What?
it.
Oh, yeah. 1 out of 16. 1 out of 16.
I'm not saying it's difficult to make it. I'm just saying you just have to get those
Yeah.
cards in your hand
Yeah.
immediately.
It's a nice win more button,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Look, Benny's gonna be. I cut it from my list. I just couldn't justify it anymore.
That's entirely
But
true.
you know what? So since John won Fest with it, I decided to put it back in my list again because it's so pretty anyway. So if you have an extra secret rare, and it's the winning deck profile, why not? I'll give it a shot until I get it off. I still haven't got it off once.
Wait,
but-
really? I've got it up so many times. Actually, the game I played against you at Locals last week or 2 weeks ago was the only time I lost when I played Heartfelt Play. That was so sad.
Yeah.
It was depressing.
I was worried when you played that.
I was like, yes, I can win this matchup. Hell yeah. Then it did nothing. It just got bottom deck and cleared. Like, okay. Oh, damn.
Oh no, anyway.
Anyway, yeah, that's literally that meme. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, so Peter, you knowing you, GX, King Piccolo, Sin Shenron, neither of those 3 decks I could really imagine you playing. Do you want to let us in on what you might be going for the UW format, or if you're playing?
Well, I have a couple of ideas of playing mid. One I'm looking at is Videl, because its biggest interference is actually Dark Power Black Marseille and Kuwait and neither of those are legal in this format. Alternatively, I have been toying around with a Margin Vegeta Hirudegarn list. It's not as much fun as what I normally like, but it's along the same sort of veins. It has the same sort of levels of aggro. I'm still not decided. There's some cards I'm waiting on to try test, and it all just depends on what falls together before that happens. But yeah, no, it'll prove interesting regardless. All I know is I'm definitely not playing blue.
Yeah.
Please.
Not blue. Blue's unplayable. Blue's actually unplayable.
Oh,
It's Bojack or
Bojack's
nothing.
seen some limited success, but it's look, I'm using the word limited very charitably here.
Yeah.
And the word
Okay.
success very charitably.
It helps that Bojack only loses the main blue tools, but it is also the only deck in this format that can use Galactic Buster,
Mm.
That is true.
which is strong enough to see a limit, even if that meant that no one played it anymore. But that's fine.
Yeah,
Alas.
please top with Hirudegarn, because that would go off.
That'll be content.
Yeah, need a
Content.
video of that. Yeah.
Jesse gets
Yeah.
it. The content brain Jesse. It's just gets whatever's good for the channel.
Do it for the bit.
Yeah,
I'll
so
try.
Ultimate Squad coming up end of this month.
Yep.
There's some really nice special rares revealed the other night.
Mm.
Like I think the set's not bad. So like they've sort of bit of something for collectors with the secret rares, like the Oath of Z and the cooler and Frieza
Invaders
one.
Vow. Invaders Vow.
Yeah,
Yep, Vader's Vow, that's the one.
Yeah.
and the special rares look really nice. Like there's a lot of sell cards, like a lot of cards that a lot of interesting GT stuff. I don't know. I think it's a good set. It's not getting huge raps. Like I think people put so much emphasis on the secret rare slot. But it's just like, and if it just doesn't if there's nothing powerful in there, it's just like, oh, it's trash. Well, it's fair enough, I suppose. 'Cause if you do crack a whole case and get like $200 secret rares, that's pretty grim. But
Yeah.
like, what do you guys reckon? Do you think it's a good set or a bit
Whole set
lacking?
is worth it for the car.
The
super
car
combo.
SCR, yeah. That
No,
card,
no,
that's
SDR,
the
but
best.
jokes aside, I actually think that the deck that belongs to the two androids is quite strong. Like I've been testing it a bit. My list isn't refined as I'd like, but just the ability to just turn 2, play your unison, untap, sure. Turn 3, you've just got 3 energy up defensively, and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna slam a win con from my energy. I'm gonna slam another win con from my energy. Oh look, it top decked another win con that I can slam from my energy. It's been
This is Gamma
good.
1 and
Gamma
Yeah.
1
yeah,
and
this is
2
Gamma 1 and Gamma 2,
superhero.
the superheroes.
Surprised they didn't
Yeah.
give them an SR like of them too, actually. Because I thought that'd been pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But it's just
Well,
like, yeah, all the Android stuff.
They'll
Well,
probably try
also
to-
weirdly, just something I noticed is the Cell extra card, the one that's like what's it called? I've got it here. Results of Research, the one that's got the 1 blue, activate main, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add an android to your hand, shuffle your deck. And then it's got an activate main. If your leader card is an android or red ribbon army card, and you send this card from your drop area to your warp, play a Cell from your hand for 6 generic mana. It's kind of weird they don't really have a Cell target in the main
The
set.
new
Like,
yellow
yeah, you've
green
got-
10 drop, dude. It's insane.
Yeah, you've got that, but that's got an
Yeah.
evolved mission. You've got the new 9 drop, but that, comes out
You pay
for
for
4 from
cheaper,
your
yeah.
energy.
Or hand.
And just, yeah, or hand,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
and
like-
just like does what I don't know. It's like obviously you can play like the 7-drop Cell in blue Android decks or blue red ribbon army decks. I don't think you would want to, but that's kind of
Yeah.
cute. But yeah, it's just sort of weird they didn't have a payoff unless I guess it's coming in the promos. Maybe we haven't seen all of them yet.
That Cell card, they did me dirty. They made it a 30k, huh? Can't play it in 16.
Yeah, I
Can't play it in
thought
16,
that
man.
too.
Yeah.
But by gosh, does the SPR look nice?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I think that this set's actually really good for competitive players.
Yeah.
I think I'd say there's 4 decks you can competitively take. I'd say the best 3 decks. I'd say the best 2 decks, then I'll go like would be the new Piccolo leader and then the new Gamma 1 and 2 leader. I think those are the best 2
Yeah.
by far. I think behind that is Cooler. I think Cooler's good, but I've played it a fair bit. But Cooler just doesn't feel as good as King Cold for like best green deck, I'd say. And then
So this is the organic cooler, to be clear. Right?
organic
Not the
cooler.
meta
Yeah,
Yeah,
organic
alright,
cooler, sure. yeah.
Unison cooler.
Unison cooler.
Yeah, Unison
cooler.
cooler, organic cooler,
And
whatever.
then
Yeah. Not
under-
meta cooler. Yeah.
Yeah, and then under that, I wouldn't have said GT, but because King Piccolo's got hit, now GT has its time to play, because before that then it's like GT kind of does like what King Piccolo does and what U7 does, but just not as good. But if King Piccolo's not there, I think people will be happy to experiment with GT, right? Triple Flash is a
Yeah.
really good win con. And yeah, I think it's really interesting actually that like for I guess specifically the Namekian deck and the GT deck, these decks are really insane, but you can't get the most insane builds with just this set alone. You need to go back in time a little bit,
Yeah.
back to some of the older cards, specifically from set
Definitely.
4, which I'm really excited for. I'm really keen for the Namekian leader. For those who do not know, Lord Slug is a Namekian, and searchable seems pretty good. So everyone I've talked to about it, and I've told them this, they're like,
Yeah,
'cause-
this is the yellow prevent draws Lord
Yeah,
Lord
like-
Slug for the record there from the draft
Yeah.
box.
I think like the Namekian leader is able to present one of the most broken board states the game has ever had, being the Namekian Lord Slug 3-drop, where in Resimo Barrier, your opponent can't draw without leader skills, and then the 4-cost green Piccolo, Kami's I think it's Kami's power or
Or simulated.
a simulated ability.
Simulated.
Yeah, where if your opponent has if active battle, if you've got Bond 2, you just kill a 5-drop or less battle card and draw a card. In my testing, I've been playing a bit on Untap for this deck when it came out a while ago. I haven't played it for a bit, so my list is still a bit outdated and needs to be updated. But if I'm sitting on, you can get those cards out as early as turn 3 on your board. If you're sitting on that, so many decks in the game just scoop. They literally can't answer that board combo, which I think is just like, that's what I'm keen for. This is the combo. My win button's like, hey, we're chilling. You can't play battle
Grab the
cards. You
7
don't draw.
drop Kale.
Yeah. Oh, but that's like, but I'm getting this board out turn
Good
3.
luck, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
know,
have to get
exactly.
the 7 energy, I'm chilling,
Cool.
So I'm really keen for that. I personally think that's the best
Mm.
deck coming out of the next set, the Namekians.
Very possible.
But yeah.
Speaking of a mix of sort of old and new, one thing I've heard a few people talk about that I've not yet seen in practice, so I don't know if it's a flash in the pan or not, is we were talking earlier about Heartshark, and assuming that can sort of survive these new unisons, a lot of this black Toa token stuff is not leader locked to like an Android or a Toa or anything. So just being able to reduce just a bunch of even temporary blockers that just become combo power for your big swings or for defending the one attack they get through an Hutch. People have been theorizing that maybe there's some there. So that might be interesting to look at.
No, you're not able to. I'll just quickly spoil. The
Not able to?
Hachiak has the same permanent skill as Vegex, where you can not play non-black battle cards, so that includes tokens.
Oh,
Ah,
right, yeah.
draft.
Yeah.
Ah.
So people
That
be
seems dead.
people are murmuring about that, and then it's like, oh wait, I can't even play tokens. But I do respect the idea, but I just can't do it.
Yeah.
What,
Also-
what are you working on, Benny?
Benny doesn't work on anything. He just gets
Oh,
information.
I don't.
Mm.
Yeah, basically. So I've literally been a bit busy at work like lately. So I only play locals like once a week now, and basically sometimes I don't even play when I'm at locals. So like this week I just dice rolled all my games. So honestly, I basically just get information. That's all I do. Like when I have time, I try to watch some like YouTube video, get some information from like John and the boys here. So I don't know. Like honestly, I just get information, see what's good, and then hopefully I can.
What did you read, Benny?
This is what Benny's been working on right here.
What?
His dice
Oh, what
roll.
did I read? Okay, so back to me and John. Like when we read a Piccolo leader, when it goes down to 5 life, that leader is insane. If it goes down to 6, that leader's not that good. So I also agree with John. I think the Piccolo leader is really good because it does what Trunks, Vegeta can't do, which is when you awaken, you go down to 5 life. So therefore, all your token negates alive immediately, bring you down to 4. That is huge. And then obviously with playing Assimilate as well, the card that allows you to grab a Namekian from the deck, that's also an extra card. So it allows like more fluid for your Steadfast, for your Riposte. Yeah, I think yellow is in a really good spot. I like yellow in general as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's probably
Assimilate-
that's probably the deck that I'm looking to play from the new set, apart from like Organic Cooler, BT17 Cooler. I think that deck
Organic Cooler.
looks pretty fun, and it's got a lot of it's got 2 SPRs for the deck as well. Sucks that the Golden Freezer isn't an SPR as well. If it was, that deck would be so pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sadly, our Arse Freezer is not an SPR. At least that we've seen.
Yeah.
He was
And
saying
then
that
I'm not-
brings Dexy back too.
Yeah.
What else? I'm not too keen on the red stuff because I think U7 is probably still better, but
Yeah.
there's not many SRs that you need to pick up. I believe it was the
2.
8 drop. You might need to pick up like 2 of those, and then Pan.
Yeah, Pan's the only SR for that deck.
Yeah, so it's pretty. If it's cheap, then I'll probably just grab them and
Yeah.
just play with it on the side. But probably, those are the good decks. I've not touched blue at all, so I need to watch Will play some of the blue decks.
Yeah. Oh, that actually reminds me. I think another big thing on this deck is that all the all the unisons they're making, like SRs, like I think every color besides blue got a new 3-cost unison that was an SR, and I think all of them are really good. Like the baby one. The baby one's insane. Like you just eat up a card, draw a card, and then it gains like an extra layer of protection. Because the baby has the permanent skill where if a mark is removed from this card, you can just take a card under it and put it in the drop area instead. So it's like when the mechanic of you put a unison card from your hand under your baby unison, it's like kind of a +2 instead of a +1 for markers in that way.
Yeah.
And
So this is. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think, and then I just think they were good. Like the Freezer, everyone saw the Golden Freezer, like, damn, this card's pretty good. The Gohan, like, not only does the artwork look beautiful, it's also, hey, pretty good card. You +1 draw a card, and then also turn into a win con, seems good. And then, what's the last one? The Mirror. I think the Toa deck's actually kind of slept on, and I think it got better because of Secret ID ban. Because you can't just instant.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah, you can't just instant win against that deck. But I think. Yeah, I think it's kind of good. I don't know. I got clapped by it a little bit. It seems solid, but not. I think it'll be more rogue. I think it's more up your alley, Peter. No one else is going to be playing it, so.
And some black
Dressed up
you seem to
price from this
turn towards.
set.
Yeah.
But now that Secret ID is gone, I'd maybe look into it. But I have to admit, I'm actually kind of excited for Metacooler. Not green Metacooler, just so
Yellow.
we're clear. I think a lot of the new cards work very well with the old leader. And
Okay.
Metacooler's biggest weakness was actually just the fact that Secret ID existed. Because everyone runs it, and losing 3 of your battle cards permanently is kind of terrible in a deck where you rely on recursion and playing them from your drop again and again and again. I haven't put up together a list. I haven't tested it. Could still be rubbish, but I'm still very excited for it.
Just going back to that Gohan unison, I've played against it a couple of times. Is SS2 Gohan Zed Fighter.
Yeah,
She's got
yeah.
Empower 3,
Yep.
20k, 3-drop Unison blocker. When it's played, if it has 4 or more markers under it, you get to just choose X of your opponent's cards, so up to the amount of markers it has. Oh, sorry, up to the amount of yellow using to drop area and KO them, ignoring barrier as long as they're in rest mode. So that breaks your little lock there with the 2 Piccolos, interestingly enough.
In rest mode, my slug's only my slug's gone. You know.
True. You draw a card for a +1 and then -3. Your leader card and this card gain 5k until the end of your opponent's next turn, and it gets triple attack. So now you've got a 25k blocker and your leader's beamed. I've played against this card. It always comes down with like 7 markers, and it just feels so goddamn oppressive.
Yep.
It's
also super
really
relevant.
good.
Honestly,
It's super relevant with Wishmaster as well.
Yeah.
Because it means you can slap it on your leader and then give him triple attack as well.
yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking as well, another deck that can utilize this is Helku from Cross
Yep.
Spirits. I think I've built this. I think it has potential,
Yeah.
but I need to tweak it a lot more because like I just felt like I was getting too aggro down in that deck because that deck's
Yeah.
very finicky to play. But I think the idea, because unfortunately Dripku kind of sucks, which is kind of funny because they made a really good Unison leader with Cooler, then they made Dripku in
Yeah,
the same
it's
set,
weird
which
when
is
they do
just
that.
insane. But I think the Gohan Unison and even the Goku Negate that goes with it, it's an SR. I can't.
Yeah, that card's nice. I've
Yeah.
got that here.
Yeah.
That is Goku Final Sacrifice. So 3-drop 15k with a counterattack, negate the attack and player's card in rest mode skill. If you've got a yellow Unison in play, it becomes a 1 cost, which is nice, and it's got Spirit Boost 1. Place this card in its opponent's drop area. When this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. Additionally, if the chosen card has energy cost 5 or less, KO it and draw a card. Real good card.
That card's really good, yeah. It's just nice, yeah. So I was thinking like these cards could be really good in Helku. I haven't
Yep.
found an optimal list yet, but you know that'll be something I'll have in the lab cooking up. You know, I'm just too busy just looking at my Piccolo, my Namekians. You know.
Yeah. Well, I've seen people experimenting with this in Golden Freezer. Yeah, we'll bring out the Golden Freezer lesson. Yeah. It looks promising, especially since you've got the line of like, once you're awakened, you go play Unison, do whatever you want with Unison, play second Unison on top of it, do whatever you want with that. Activate Dispo, summon one of your little 1-drops from the drop, kill it, untap, draw, play another Unison on top of that, and just like build up your Empower chain very, very, very quickly, drawing a card each time. So you draw like 4 or 5 cards, you build up the Empower chain, you drop a Trunks with ludicrous markers, you've probably still got some energy up, and it's just like, enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't messed with it too much, but I probably should.
Yeah, I think yeah, I like Golden Freezer too. It was one of my like looked at YOLO decks for a while, but when U7 got announced, it's like that deck is the matchup's so hard. It
is,
didn't feel like it. That was like worth playing. I think I honestly think that's kind of why Golden Freezer got phased out because U7's so popular and it's just such a good matchup.
That and King Piccolo.
That and King
like,
Piccolo,
King
yeah,
Piccolo
yeah,
was an
KP, yeah,
awful matchup, as anybody who saw me at finals would be able to attest. But
yeah.
yeah, it was an awful matchup, and that's really the thing that made me put down the deck. That and the weakening of yellow in the last list.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like about GT again because yeah, I don't know. I think it's good, but again, as Benny said before, it's like if your leader awakens at 6 versus awakening at 5, it's like it just feels so different. And plus, the big thing that you can exploit about that deck is that deck always has a Unison in play. You never actually have to swing to lead, just always swing to Unison.
Yeah, that is a big problem there.
Yeah, but I think it'll still get experimented with because I think obviously everyone loves SS4, and yeah, it's just another triple flash dot deck that you can use. If you get triple flash off, I think you'll be looking really good. Even though there's a lot of ways to interrupt triple flash in the combo step, but it's still pressure. It's still a really good card regardless.
I don't know how realistic of a concern it is, but the other problem is if your Unison gets removed before you awaken, you can't draw.
Yeah, that's
a real
I
concern.
don't think that's a problem. Honestly, the only deck I think that could
Yeah.
actually do that is Gogeta Zeno, and that is no longer a problem.
Yeah. Or I guess Gotenks if that comes back somehow, but I doubt it.
Gotenks, yeah.
Green Gotenks is pretty good at removing markers.
Yeah, you can maybe do it, but you have to do a suboptimal line of play. Because
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to come into a really really nice format. You know, heaps of characters that are well loved. You know, get their time in the sun, and lots of heaps of strategies to try. I'm really hoping that the Zenkai sort of new mechanic that comes in, the extra card that's going to go on the side of the leader. Hopefully that just enhances all these fun decks that people are going to be looking forward to in Ultimate Squad instead of just some sort of game-breaking new mechanic that just changes everything again. Because only having if you only get to play Green Cooler for like 3 months, it's going to be a bit of a shame. So hopefully they integrate that mechanic seamlessly with all the cool stuff that's going to happen in Ultimate Squad.
I'm just happy to finally be out of the UW block after what is it, 2 years? Something like that. When did BT10 come out?
BT10 came out when COVID first hit.
Yep, and I've got it here. July 17th, 2020. So we're coming up on 2 years in the Universal Warriors block.
Yeah. I think it's been I want to say like it's been half the game, right? I don't want to say it's like been like the best block or like the best part of the game, but honestly, I think the most diverse formats have been in the Unison Warrior block. I think it has overstayed its welcome a little bit, I will say. I think they could have easily ended it with Realm of the Gods and gone to the next thing, but they already said they're doing like whatever sets. But yeah, you can't complain. I think it introduced the Unison Warrior mechanic the Unison mechanic was really good. I think it's been a good fundamental of the game now, Not every deck has to run Unisons. Every deck utilizes Unisons differently. Like a good example is like Gogeta Zeno, for example. They use that Unison as like kind of like, all right, when it wants to come in as a tech towards the end of the game, whereas other decks like Piccolo, King Piccolo literally revolve the whole deck about keeping that Unison alive for as long as possible. So I think it's like being implemented really well. Besides like the Empower stuff, I think Empower as a concept's cool, but kind of like I think they're doing it better this set than they did last set, because how Empower should be, you just want to drop it like insane Unison, and it just can't die because there's so many markers on there. Whereas when they went for it before, it's like you can swap your Unisons around. You this one, 3 markers, discard a card. This one, you kill a card 3 or less. Like, come on, let's be real.
I will say that the boost mechanics haven't been as strong as the core set. Like Spirit Boost wasn't that great as a marquee mechanic. Empower wasn't that great as a marquee mechanic. They're fleshing out a bit. But that said, the impression that I always got, just given Bandai's communication here, was Boost was never planned. This was just because of the pandemic. Like, even when they originally announced UW block, they said it would only be 3 sets. This is back in 2019. So I think as a sort of a necessary evil, the sort of holding pattern, I think they did very well with what they had at the time.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was I thought they only confirmed the first 4 sets of UW, and then the other ones was like extra. But yeah, fair enough. It was only 3.
Yeah, I think it was 3 from memory, but yeah, I don't know if I can find that in a reasonable time frame.
No, that's alright. Doesn't matter. Yeah. I think 3 or 4 doesn't matter. They usually like to do the blocks in like years and whatever. But yeah, but I don't think anyone can complain. I think it's been like the most. I think the cool thing, as I said before, is like it's been the most diverse like formats in DBS.
Absolutely.
I never felt like, other than when Vegex is around at the start, which was really really bad. Betty, love you, but Vegex is really really bad. But actually, that actually brings up a thought. Do you think now that GX is gone, do you reckon people are going to experiment with Vegex again? Because I think it's like one of the best generic black leaders.
No. I think they're going to experiment. I don't think it's going to be very fruitful, but I think they're going to experiment.
Oh, I was just trying to give Benny hope. Apparently. Just no.
Nah, honestly, if you were going to play, like, how I was playing that SS3, the Marseille, the starter deck leader one?
Yeah.
I'd rather play that over Vegex, because, like, you can do more. You can do more with that leader, I feel like. Well, and, like, with Vegex, I think the main thing is that, like, you need to be able to take your own life and self-awaken, like... I don't know. I think like relying on the trunk sometimes is just not enough, and like bursting 3 these days is
not a lot.
Is okay, but not a lot. Yeah,
you know what's funny?
Yeah, compared to 5, it's a huge hit. Yeah.
I actually forgot that the God Trunks leader was a thing. That's just the default best black leader. I don't know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I was thinking. I know the other Marseille, I think, topped an event a little while back, like the one where it's like burst 3, get a card back from your
drop. Yeah, the set 5 one, yeah.
So like maybe that, but no, God Trunks exists.
God Trunks is too good.
Silly.
You know what card I think actually comes back? You know what one card I think is like the Gogeta changes is like there's a card that's super happy. The Demigra Overrealm. The Dark Overrealm Demigra. I feel like
the 5 drop.
Yeah, 5 drop, yeah. I feel like
I mean it's nice to see green unbanned as well.
What was that? Sorry, Benny?
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, we've already seen Ivo that playing Hatch against Legends in
Yeah.
one of the
Mm.
finals. He was already utilizing that 5-drop Demigra, like
Yeah.
taxing your opponent's hand.
Yeah.
That was interesting to see it come back. So yeah, props to him.
Yeah.
We saw it
I
in
like it.
Benny's Demigro deck as well. Oh, not Benny, sorry, Peter's Demigro deck as well.
Peter had it too, for sure.
Yeah, look, it's a great card, especially it's a red and also blue, so long as they don't have any useless
Yeah.
effects.
Well-
Really, just any deck where you have I mean, you always need to have more cards in your hand than your opponent, but any deck that you know that can outdraw you, it's the time
Yeah.
that you need to use it. You need to start taxing.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah. Well, if you're playing God Trunks now, you don't have any generic good over. Well, yeah, you still have the 6-drop Goku, but now it's like, oh well, I'll just play this and it stays on board. If it stays on board, I'm getting paid good tonight, So maybe that card props up again. I know, circling back.
Yeah,
to
definitely in the
balance,
black decks, I think.
Yeah, yeah. The only reason I bring it up is because I don't think Toa's going to make a big impact on the meta. Like, I know it's more of a rogue thing, the Toa token swarm, but just thinking for like what's next for black, because I feel like you look at the red changes and you see like, oh yeah, King Piccolo's gone, U7 time, but like for black, it feels a bit more awkward, I guess.
A lot more ambiguous.
Yeah. To be fair, black has been at the top table since pretty much the start of the Universal Warriors block with Vegex's reign, and then into Dark Broly and all of that. So maybe it's maybe we're okay with it having like a quick little breather. Quick little step out of the
You're
spotlight.
scaring Benny, Will. You're scaring Benny. Don't say that.
Look, I just want them to unban green, okay?
It is interesting you mentioned Dark Broly because that is another deck that steps in and gets a bit better now.
That is true.
The guy actually won with it, didn't he? Not that long ago.
I don't know if anyone won, but I know it came like top 2
I think there was a. I think it was a Crossworlds channel. I think there was a deck profile on First Place Broly. I want to say.
Oh damn, I didn't know that.
Crossworlds TCG. I'm doing the research. I'm gonna be Will for a second.
Oh yeah, doing
Yeah.
lookups, yeah.
Well, I think Dark Broly is still pretty good. Like, you pay 1 for a lot of your 30k beat sticks. Like, but honestly, but with thwarting, it would be much, much better. But like now without thwarting, I guess, I don't know. I really enjoyed having thwarting in the deck, but it's just a 1 energy, like, double striker. Why not? And because like with that list, you played the Goku and the Vegeta anyways, because they're really good 30k targets for the deck. So having thwarting in that deck was kind of insane. Like, I mean, now it's just a secret rare, but it's a one of,
the deck actually won in Asia Online Regional.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I know you call Gogeta a secret rare, but actually, this is what's gonna happen when you play black. You play your 1 Gogeta.
Well, you gotta loop it.
Yeah, you just loop it. Yeah, they kill it. Alright, cool. Like, overall, my Goku, I choose a card in my warp. Alright, cool. I'll add the Gogeta. You just kill back to my hand. I play it again, baby. Yeah,
honestly, looking at the Asian results, I think if you just pencil the name Broly onto your leader, you can just win.
Jesus. Jesus.
I will say, Doc, talking
Starter
about...
Broly wins there consistently.
Deck's good.
That's true. I mean, talking about Dark Broly and looping thwarting, it is actually the only deck that can get around unique. Because you can just play thwarting, swing with it, and then you can swing with your leader. Activate a ball on thwarting. He's now a 30k black battle card. You can sack it to your leader effect. He goes to drop. You can overwhelm and Union Fusion him again.
Yep, big brain plays.
Yeah.
You could, but it seems like too much work.
Yeah, you could.
I'm pretty
It's one energy from your hand and one overall. So it's not that
We
bad.
spent so much time asking if we could. We never asked if we should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure none of the Dark Broly lists right now. They've cut all the red balls and the one drop Broly because, like, like the deck obviously got errata now, so you want as little +0
30k as possible.
power as you want. Yeah.
A lot of them are going to Kidku instead, using the 1-drop Kidku and using the 4-star ball.
Yeah,
just like
that's more
Hatch.
standard,
Hatch is doing that a lot.
Yeah, maybe Dark Broly is another one. It's actually probably the only leader you can actually. So another card that's like still the only Gogeta card that didn't get hit was the Fearless Fusion, right? I think that card slept on, like being able to pay 1 overall and just warp something, ignoring barrier. That card's pretty broken.
Yeah.
And I feel like Dark Broly is probably going to be the best deck that can use that card, right? So it's just food for thought, Maybe you play Dark Broly again,
definitely.
Benny.
Yeah, I'll play Dark Brawl if you play the Namekian, just to pop your
What?
Lord Slug chain and your your barrier chain.
Oh
You know
shit!
what I mean?
I just ruined myself. I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, we're playing Dark Brawl, yeah, local
Congratulations.
boys. Next
Oh,
minute, John,
himself.
big brains, like, oh, I want to play a deck with 4 Violent Rays.
Oh shit! Yeah, I just taking 4 Violent Rays into my Namekian deck. I charged the 1 red energy. And I read, oh wait, my leader's not red. Well, damn. It is what it is.
Be kind of cool. Like, honestly, there's heaps of options, like to play. Like, I don't know. I just thought Gogeta Zeno was the best deck for the format. That's why I played it. But it seems like people get the misconception that it's the only deck that they think I know how to play. But like, honestly, like I'm here thinking, what do I told John before as well. What do I top my 4th national with? We'll find out.
Your 4th
Later in
national.
the year.
The subtle flex. I
It's
like
not
it.
even
Yeah,
in
I'm just
question.
saying, like, I mean, like, if this is the only deck that you know how to play, if you're one trick pony, then
Yeah.
I don't think you'll top every nationals. But yeah,
I think people
you need to be
yeah,
very flexible.
Yeah. People don't know how long Benny's been around, dude. He's been around for ages.
I'm old.
Yeah.
OG. Same as John.
Beniatric.
Set.
Put in
Actually, I've
work.
been around since set
You
3.
started set 3, right? Yeah, I started set 1.
Yeah,
Day
right-
1. Day 1
right after. I never played the Mecha Freezer
format.
that time. Yeah, I played when I started. It was already SS3 dominant. So that's when I started.
Mecha Freezer format was a trip.
That was like
What about
the
you
I'll
guys?
say there.
that was
Peter
like
and Will.
that
Huh?
was
When
the
did you guys-
worst format in the game.
Yeah.
Mecha Freezer.
I started with set 1, but I really got into it around set 4.
4.
I
Okay,
also
yeah.
started set 3 also shortly after
Hey.
Mecha Freezer.
You guys
arrived,
missed out on
so
the good time. Missed out on the
Yeah.
worst time.
I heard enough to know I'd never want to touch it.
Yeah.
Same.
It was fun
I
in
would
small
play it.
doses. Very, very small doses.
Benny would play it because it got banned. Yeah, Benny would play it. Yeah, damn.
Yeah, why not? Apparently, you can play free March of the Great Apes and stuff. Like, yeah, apparently you can just do a lot of cool stuff with that deck. So,
I think like if you think
like,
of it
still-
now, it's like crazy. Like yeah, it's just insane some of the stuff you can do. Been a lot of like crazy cards that have been hit on the ban list and whatever. But yeah, that was definitely dude. The lead is broken when it has to get banned twice. That's insane. They reboot it, got banned again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many times do we have to teach you, old man?
Next time, it's like what are they gonna do the third time? I guess I guess they wanted to keep this one alive because Mecha Freezer is a kind of cool character, and they kind of wanted to see if
Yeah.
they can rebring it. But if they ever make a new Mecha Freezer leader, I can guarantee you it's gonna have a different effect for sure. No more free extra cards. It'll be funny if they redo it a third time and just say you can't pay extra cards for free. They're just reduced. That'd actually be so funny. No freebies.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about leaving it there? We're going to run out of stuff to talk about next time.
Yeah, we can call it.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we've covered some heaps of stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for tuning in for this for the last podcast back before. Hopefully we can get into more of a schedule. So maybe weekly. Like it's I think we're gonna have to come up with some different ideas and stuff we can do like on a weekly basis because like the same discussion about formats and stuff might get a bit stale. So we'll try and come up with some ideas and yeah, thanks very much for tuning in.